Alright guys, today we're back with a special guest in the building, and she's gonna tell us why the manosphere has occurred and the difference between the pills as far as a college setting goes. Alright guys, so I do have some very good news for you today. Now that I'm back in college and now that I'm actually experiencing the real world in its full effect, instead of just being a freshman and just trying to survive, I can actually give you guys a pretty accurate depiction of what's going on between men and women, why the manosphere was created, and all that. So let's just jump straight into it. I'm very excited about this one because I was inspired to make it. So basically, for those of you guys who don't know what the manosphere is, it's basically just a community of men who grieve and talk about their problems with the modern world and their dating lives and stuff like that. And this kind of originated from a lot of the YouTubers that we don't love, like Sneeko, Hamza, and Wheat Waffles. And some are more extreme than others, but basically they are of the notion that male virginity is skyrocketing, and they're trying to figure out the basis for the reasoning behind it and everything to do with it, because it is interesting and also very sad and depressing. I want to mention that my luck with women has not been the best whatsoever. I've pretty much only hooked up with one girl my whole life, and it was very brief and short-lived. Since then I've had pretty much no luck, but I'm not as much of an incel about it as most dudes are. I'm not misogynistic as a result of it, and I am probably a little bit red pill, but as should everyone be to some extent, in my personal opinion. Now I'm gonna explain to you guys the difference between the pills after I let my dog out. So basically what the blue pill is just being unaware in general, thinking that everyone's life ends in a white picket fence, a big house, and a nice family, which is just simply not true. Red pill is basically the notion that there are many problems with modern dating and overall just women and men in modern society, and acknowledging those problems but believing that you can fix them if you put the right amount of self-improvement in. And then the black pill is the sole focus on genetic traits and characteristics that make you able to pull women or not pull women, and basically just saying you have zero control over these things. You do have these select few genetic traits or you don't. I believe that the truth lies somewhere within the red pill and the black pill, because I know a lot of people who don't have necessarily good habits but just look really good and they're able to get women no problem. But I would also argue that people that don't look the best can work their way up to it, but they don't have that intrinsic advantage. What I've noticed about college is that the women aren't going for the dudes with the good habits at all. They basically go out to frats and they try and get in. And if you're in the frat and if you have frat connections, you'll pretty much be able to get women guaranteed, because you're surrounded by a lot more of them and you have an opportunity to see them in a more vulnerable state, which is usually when they're looser. Obviously, if you're drunk, you're not going to pay that much attention to how someone looks before getting with them, especially if you go in with the intention of hooking up. What I will say, however, is that it definitely helps with being more confident and having more girls be comfortable around you, just for the mere fact that you're comfortable with yourself and around your own thoughts. But yeah, it's kind of like every other aspect of your life where you have to put in the time to get the right one. It's like the same instant gratification principle. You can probably be gratified by some girl that is ugly and doesn't fit your criteria for someone that you find good enough to be with you, but you don't want that, right? You want someone that you can actually respect. So yeah, those frat parties are definitely something that will go on at college. If you guys haven't yet been to college and you're planning on it in the future, you're gonna see the frat scene is absolutely huge. I can't even deny it. But if you're one of these guys who doesn't want to be forced to eat goldfish and do like those weird things that they make the frat initiates do, and even beyond that, just have those bad habits, and you want to find a girl on your own accord, you will eventually do that. It's just like every other aspect of your life. If you put in the right amount of time, you'll eventually stumble across something good. Yes, it is less guaranteed, I would say, than something like working out, where if you work out for a year, you will look better than the year before. That's just the way working out works. This is more, you have to actually put yourself out there. You have to be doing the right things. You can't just expect it to land in your lap. But ultimately, if you are improving yourself, you don't need to worry all that much. Just make sure that you actually know how to talk to girls, and eventually you'll be alright. And honestly, I think about this way more when I'm actually around women, when I'm around other guys that, talk about it as well. It's a topic of discussion for really everyone in the college, and everyone around talks about it. But if you don't want to go down that hookup route, or you can't even, like you're physically incapable of hooking up for whatever reason, whether it be your looks are not good enough yet, or you just haven't built that charismatic persona for yourself, then just look at it like this. Hooking up is really just another drug. It's not all that different from alcohol and marijuana and all these other things that we wouldn't even think of doing. It's just that we have a biological need with this one that feels fulfilled in the moment that we do hook up, but ultimately will leave you feeling not that gratified like how you think it will. And not only that, you might even feel worse about yourself. So don't just hook up just for the sake of hooking up. And yeah, just don't focus on it too much. I think that I struggle with just focusing on it way too much, and I think that is a flaw of mine that I need to work on. So that is, I think, why the manosphere is building, because guys are not getting what they want in the slightest, right? Everyone is in the desert when it comes to girls. We can only really help ourselves and bring ourselves closer to being able to get a girlfriend and get into a relationship. And when you are ready, it will come. Ask yourself right now if you actually would be better served with a relationship or worse off. Think about it logically and really think it through. A relationship is a lot of time sucked out of your life that could have been used for doing other things. So if you really don't have the free time right now, I would suggest against trying to get into a relationship too seriously. Obviously, if it comes, it comes, but seeking it out almost never works, and I've been seeking it out for the better part of the last 3 years. It doesn't do anything. It just leads to more dissatisfaction with the whole metric that we judge ourselves based on. And yeah, it's honestly perfectly fine to be a virgin at the age that we are at, because there's really no point anyway. It's just instant gratification at the end of the day. You're not going to be starting a family right now. Eventually, yes, get experience, but for now, it's no big deal. Don't focus on it all too much. And that's pretty much all I got for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.